Okay, now we will see the wave particle nature. So in that, de Broglie proposed one theory to explain the wave particle nature. That is a de Broglie's wave theory. So he tried to explain the wave and particle nature of the given particles. So given microscopic particles. So first of all, we have to know that light exhibits the different properties. Light exhibits the different properties. What are those? Diffraction, interference, photoelectric effect, Compton effect. So diffraction, interference, the phenomena proves that wave nature of the light. Diffraction, interference proves that wave nature of the light. And photoelectric effect, Compton effect. What are those? Photoelectric effect and Compton effect. These phenomena proves that light has a particle nature. Diffraction, interference proves that light having the wave nature, and photoelectric effect, Compton effect, they have said that wave has a particle nature. So by this what we can say, light has dual nature. Light has a dual nature. Next, he proposed that matter is like radiation should also exhibit the dual nature. So matter is like radiation, that should also exhibit the dual nature. So first, if you take any particle which is moving, it is a wave. Any particle in a motion, that is a wave. So all microparticles moving with high velocities, they are associated with wave nature. They are associated with wave nature. If you take that Planck's quantum theory, what is the Planck's quantum theory? That is generalized by the Einstein. That is E is equal to h nu. Nu is equal to c by lambda. This is the equation one you will take. And Einstein's mass energy relationship. That is E is equal to mc square. So both equation 1 and 2. So E is equal to hc by lambda, E is equal to mc square. hc by lambda is equal to mc square. That is h lambda is equal to mc. Lambda is equal to h by mc. Lambda is a material or particle wavelength. Lambda here material or particle wavelength. M is the mass of the particle. H is the Planck's constant. C is the velocity of the given light. Is it clear? So E is equal to h nu. From the he has taken the Planck's quantum theory and Einstein's mass energy relationship. E is equal to hc by lambda, E is equal to mc square. So hc by lambda is equal to mc square, that is lambda is equal to h by mc. So lambda is a material property, material or particle wavelength. M is the mass of the moving particle. H is the Planck's constant. Next, C is the velocity of the light. So momentum, momentum is the product of mass of the particle into velocity. The product of mass of the particle into velocity. So that is, you can write P. What is that? Capital P. So lambda is equal to h by P. Lambda is equal to h by P. By seeing this one, you can say, what is that? The wavelength of a particle in motion. The wavelength of a particle in motion is inversely proportional to the momentum. Is it clear? So lambda is inversely proportional to the momentum. H is the Planck's constant. Here lambda is the signifies wave nature of the light. Lambda signifies the wave nature of the light. P signifies the particle nature of the light. P, momentum, signifies the particle nature of the light. Here lambda, wavelength of a macro bodies, is ignored. What is that? Wavelength of macro bodies like cricket ball, bullet. So the wavelength may ignore, but the wavelength of micro bodies like electron, proton, atoms, molecules, that wavelength of micro bodies is not ignored. Is it clear? So this is the de Broglie's wave theory. So light exhibits generally diffraction, circumference. These phenomena explains the wave nature of the particle, photoelectric effect and Compton effect. That signifies the or that phenomena says that particle nature of the matter. So by this we can say light having the dual nature. So he tried to explain that, de Broglie tried to explain the relationship between the wave and particle nature. So if any particle in motion is a wave, if you take the electron, proton, quarks, atoms, molecules. So from Planck's theory, which is generalized Einstein equation, that is E is equal to h nu. E is equal to h nu. Mu is equal to c by lambda. So and energy mass relationship E is equal to mc square. If you equate the both, you will get the lambda is equal to h by mc. Lambda is the material or particle wavelength. Mass, m is the mass of the moving particle, h is the Planck's constant. So momentum is the product of the mass and velocity, that is lambda is equal to h by t. So lambda signifies the wave nature, momentum signifies the particle nature. So the wavelength of a moving particle is inversely proportional to the momentum. The wavelength of moving particle is inversely proportional to the momentum. Next, wavelength of macro bodies may ignored, but wavelength of the micro particles we cannot ignore. So by the discovery of the wave nature, wave property of electron, it is utilized in the construction of the electron microscope. It is utilized in the construction of the electron microscope. Okay, now we see the de Broglie's concept and Bose theory. What is it? De Broglie's concept and Bose theory. So what it explains, we will see now. So when electron moving in a circular path, it has two types of waves. So there are two types of waves are possible. So how many types of waves are possible when electron revolves in a particular circular path? There is a two types of waves. What are those? One is standing or stationary or non-energy radiating wave. So one is a standing or stationary or non-energy radiating wave. Second wave, non-stationary or energy radiating wave. So one is a non-energy radiating wave, another one is a energy radiating wave. So what is the difference? We will try to understand this. So if the two ends of the waves to meet give a regular series of crest and troughs. Two ends of the wave which are meet together to give a regular series of crests and troughs, the wave said to be in phase. There are the constructive interference of the electron wave. Is it clear? There is a constructive interference of electron wave. So what is it? So see that this is a circular path. So when electron revolving in that, the wave one end and another end meet to give a regular series of crests and troughs. So they are said to be stationary or non-energy radiating wave. They are said to be non-energy radiating wave or stationary waves. Is it clear? So when it is possible, if the two ends of the waves to give a regular series of crest and troughs, that is formed because of the constructive interference of electron wave. That is because of the constructive interference of electronic wave. So if you see that when it is possible, when the two ends of the wave meet together to form a non-energy radiating wave, when it is possible, when circumference of the orbit, that is 2 pi r, is equal to the integral multiple of wavelength. That is the whole number. integral multiple of wavelength, then only constructive interference takes place, and that leads to the non-energy radiating wave. That leads to the non-energy radiating wave. Suppose you see that 2 pi r is equal to n, lambda is equal to h by mv. So mvr is equal to ns by 2 pi we can write. So de Broglie's theory supported that Bohr's postulate, what is that? Angular momentum of an electron in orbit is quantized. So de Broglie's theory supported the Bohr's postulate. What is it? Angular momentum of an electron in orbit is quantized when the circumference, if it is not equal to the integral multiple of wavelength, that is 2 pi r is not equal to the n lambda. So what will happen? This we call in phase. So see that this is our out phase. So this is because of the destructive interference. In case of the circumference of the orbit is bigger or smaller, if the circumference of the orbit is bigger or smaller than n lambda, means that is not equal to the n lambda, the electron wave is said to be out of phase. Then there occurs destructive interference of electron waves. Destructive interference causes the non-stationary or energy radiating wave. Constructive interference of the electronic wave gives the in-phase wave, in-phase or stationary or non-energy radiating waves. So once again I am saying that de Broglie's concept and Bohr's theory, when electron in a circular path, two types of waves are possible. One is standing stationary non-energy radiating wave, another one is non-stationary energy radiating wave. So if the two ends of the wave meet to give a regular series of crust and troughs, the wavelength is said to be in phase. That is in phase. If the two ends of the wave they are not meet together, the wave is said to be out of the phase. In phase means because of the constructive interference. When it is possible? When circumference, that is 2 pi r, is equal to the integral multiple of wavelength. Of electron. That is 2 pi r is equal to n lambda, 2 pi r is equal to n h by mv, mvr is equal to ns by 2 pi. So Bohr's theory supported the postulates of angular momentum of an electron is in orbit is quantized. So this is a in phase when two ends are meet together. These are the out phase when two ends of the wave not meet together. This leads to the non-stationary or energy radiating wave. This is the non-energy radiating wave. This is a energy radiating wave.